Hi! Lost is a logistical decision simulator created by Garmont. In the first scenario, we must consider that Garmont is like a small supply chain. It is suppliers, owns a factory, and markets its products through a small store.
We will start by talking about suppliers.
We work with 3 different types of raw materials. For each type of raw material, we have selected 3 different suppliers.
For example, for raw material A, we have supplier A1, supplier A2, and supplier A3. Each of them has been qualified in relation to 4 different items: quality, delivery time, cost of delivery, and unit cost. The details of these scores will be found in the simulator.
In the factory, we have 3 different machines. Each of these machines is operated by a worker. They work from Monday to Friday 8 hours. There are 2 different work shifts. So, in total we have 80 machine hours per week. Each of the 8 different products we manufacture must go through each machine. Perhaps this is our main constraint and limits our production capacity. The time each product consumes in each machine is described in detail in the simulator. On the other hand, 2 important elements should be noted. The first is that workers have a fixed weekly wage. This means that if the factory does not produce a ball in the week, they will receive their weekly salary. In addition, there is also an operating cost for each machine. This cost is related to the inputs and energy used for its operation. This cost depends on how long the machine is used. If no balls are produced in a week, this operating cost will be 0. All data about wages, operating costs, and the time each product consumes in each machine is clearly described in the simulator.
In the store, people come looking for some of the items that we have designed and manufactured. They arrive at the store and select the products, and then they go to the cash registers where they pay for the items they have selected. If they do not find the item they are looking for, then they leave the store, and the sale is lost. The cashier should always ask all our customers if they found everything they were looking for. In this way, we get to know our demand, even if the article is not available. Every week we send the factory a report of our sales, and demand for all types of balls. With this information we try to make the forecasts, and to determine the production plan for next week. On the other hand, on Saturdays in the afternoon we regularly receive the shipment of finished products from the factory. These products will be available for sale early on Monday.
Now let us explain how the simulator works. The first step is to enter the page, lost.sol.im. The game starts with a welcome message. If you do not have an account, then click sign up. You must complete the first 4 fields, these are mandatory, the other fields are optional. After completing your registration, enter the game. On the left side of your screen you will have the option to start a new game. Or you can choose to continue with a game. If you choose to start a new game, then the software will present some options. If you have never played this game, choose the easiest level, or the first version. If you choose the first version of the game, then a questionnaire will appear. My advice is to answer the questionnaire. The questionnaire will help you to know if you have understood the different details of the game. On the other hand, every correct answer that you have in the questionnaire will give you a bonus of $10,000, which are very useful at the beginning of the game. If you decide not to do the questionnaire, you will start with $30,000. But if you decide to do it, you could start with $100,000. The questionnaire can be easily answered if you pay attention to this video. After answering the questionnaire, you can start the game. Now, I will ask Ernest to explain the part of the simulator that corresponds to the production.
Thank you, Patch.
See you later.
On the left side of the screen, there is a button called Enterprise Data. If you click on it, you will be able to consult relevant information for the game. The information shows you data about our products, operations, and suppliers. When you click on Products, the following information will appear. The table will show you the time each product needs in each machine, the amount of each raw material needed to make a unit of that product, and its selling price. For the production department, this information is very important. It allows us to calculate the machine time and the amount of raw material that we will use in a production run. For example, suppose you want to produce 200 units of product 2 and 200 units of product 3, and we want to know how many minutes we will use machine 1. Because you want to produce 200 units of product 2, then you will use 1000 minutes the machine 1. And, because you want to produce 200 units of product 3, then you will use another 800 minutes the machine 1. In total, this production run will use 1800 minutes the machine 1. Suppose now that we want to know how many kilograms of raw material A will be used. Because we will produce 200 units of product 2, we need 16,000 grams. And, because we want to produce 200 units of product 3, we need 12,000 grams. In total, we need 28,000 grams, or 28 kilograms. It is very important to remember that, for a production run, you have 80 hours a week. That is, 4,800 minutes. Time regularly is the strongest constraint we have when we plan production runs. If your production plan exceeds the 4,800 minutes available, the program will send you a message stating that the production capacity has been exceeded. To close this information window, click on the upper right corner of the window, and you will go back to the previous window. Now, Vale will explain the following information window.
Thank you, Ernest.
See you later.
Now, I will explain you the window operations. When you click on Operation, you will see the following information. In the first line, we specify the number of workers. As Ernest had commented, we have 6 workers in the factory. The salary of an employee is $1,500 per week. This information is presented in the second row. In the third line, we establish the capacity of the warehouse in the factory. Because in the first scenario, we have not considered a constraint on the capacity of the warehouse, so we can suppose that the capacity is infinite. The fourth, fifth and sixth row, tell us about the operation cost of machines per hour. As Ernest had commented, this cost consider the inputs and energy used by these machines. The cost for running a large truck and a small truck are shown at the 7th and 8th rows. These trucks are used to transport the product from the factory to the store. Please, you must consider that in the first scenario it is only possible to use large trucks. Finally, the last row specifies the annual interest rate that we receive from the bank. The money that we have available at the beginning of the week, we invest it in shares. And at the end of the week, we receive the corresponding proportional payment. All this information will be very useful in the game. Now, Jenny will explain the information about the suppliers.
Thank you, Vale.
See you soon.
Hello again. I will talk to you about the suppliers. If you click on Suppliers, then a window with more information will appear. As I said before, we have 3 different suppliers for each raw material. The suppliers that appear in blue, help us with the raw material A, those that appear in orange color, with the raw material B, and those that appear in green, with the raw material C. The first 3 columns give us information about unit cost, quality, and shipping cost. For example, suppose you want to order 400 kilograms of raw material A from supplier 2, then you will have to pay the unit cost multiplied by 400. plus shipping cost. As you can see, calculating the total cost is very easy. The following 4 columns show the probability that the order can be received in 1, 2, 3 or 4 weeks. In the first scenario, these delivery times are completely fixed. So, in this case, only 2 percentages appear, 0% and 100%. 100% indicates that delivery will take place in these weeks. For example, Supplier 2, Supplier 4, and Supplier 9 will deliver the order in a week. The last column shows the volume that 1 kilogram of that product will occupy inside the warehouse of the factory. As Vale told us a few moments ago, in the first scenario this volume is not considered. But in later scenarios, you should try to establish strategies to not exceed the warehouse capacity. Now, Patch will explain some other features of the simulator.
Thank you, Jenny.
See you soon.
Now we will review the history button. This button is very important. When you click on this button, you will see historical information about the products in factory, raw material in factory, orders of raw material, products in store. And one of the most important data in the game, demand data over the past 4 years. You can consult these data at any time. And I am sure they will be of great use to you. If you click on the demand button, the following information will appear. As I was saying, these are the demand data of each product of the last 4 years. You can copy all this data, and place it in a spreadsheet to make forecasts. Or if you wish, you can also ask the program to plot a graph. As you can see, there is a lot of information that you can consult within this software. In the next video we will explain how to make decisions. Thanks to Jenny, Vale and Ernest for their time, and thank you for your patience. See you soon.